Hey yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy FRE $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's TheFlyBoyWay. Don't ask why. Check out the channel, and we are back here. I know it's been a while, but like I said, it's not going to be an every week thing. But I'm gonna try to do it on the Mondays when I do it. Welcome back to Money Talk Mondays, and on this Money Talk Mondays, I think it's time that we as United States citizens, as Americans, realize that freedom ain't free and equality ain't free. You have to have money and you have to be able to have options through that money for you to get that freedom and equality that everyone so thinks we're promised here in the United States. I'm going to start off with some videos. As you guys know, I live in Newark, New Jersey. Wow, 12 people in the room already. That was fast. Let me know where you guys from. Shout you out. I'll shout your cities out. Put you on the road. But as you guys know, I live in Newark, New Jersey. Now, I understand that there are two types of people. People who can do and people who complain. Now, people who can, they do. People who can't, they complain. In order to become one of the people that can do, you have to have money in America. You have no power unless you have money. And another thing that just smacked me in the face and helped me realize this again is what's going on in my own city, man. In my own city of Newark, New Jersey. Let me give you. If you haven't seen the video already, I put the video up already the other day, but I'm going to play it again for you guys haven't seen. So let me share the screen with y'all. And let me let it rock, man. This is gonna start happening around the Que lo que. Let me shout everybody out. Shout out to Terrence Scott. Shout out to John Wayne. What's going on, bro? How you been, man? Still on the road? Dog Nuts. Shout out to Dog Nuts. Terrence Scott from Lowell, Massachusetts. Que lo que, we go. All right, so this is the video I want to play for you guys. This is happening in my own city. This is. We'll go more into it later. Xavier, go in your room. It's bedtime.
November the 25th to December the 4th, we are advising a stay-home order.
I don't think it's any mystery that many of the political types, black political types in our community, are highly egotistical in terms of their self-centered interests and needs, and you may be at this point threatening that. Secondly, you've constantly referred to the paranoia, the fear, the unfounded fear in our community of any move that you as a Imam Amidi Baraka makes. How are you as an individual going to remain intact with those two forces operating? How are you going to get into the political arena and not be accused of being selfish or self-centered?
What we do, our work will legitimize us with the community. You don't have to be self-aggrandizing or self-advertising. What we do will legitimize us with the community. But, you know.
Now I wanted to play a little bit of that video, and because, like I said, if you want to see the whole video, you can go to my video. I put the video up before, but basically in my city of Newark, New Jersey, and we're gonna get to this next video next, but basically in my city of Newark, New Jersey, they're shutting down. There is no mass countrywide shutdown. There is no stimulus that just for New Jersey. There's no stimulus that even occurred in America, but we're shutting down again, which means that businesses are shutting down, which means that people who work hard to make something happen, to build and strive their own businesses are shutting down, and not because of their wishes, but because of the selfishness of the government and of the mayor and of the mayor's staff. They say here, check this out. When you don't have money in America, they get away with things on you that they wouldn't get away with other people. Let me give you a prime example. The cities that are shutting down, they say because it's the high virus rate, are North, East Orange, Irvington, and Orange. Now, although East Orange and Irvington only shutting down for 3 days, Newark is shutting down for 10 days. Don't all those cities have something in common? I wonder what it is. Oh, yes. Those are the most poverty-stricken development cities that are in Essex County. You see, I was under the impression that maybe the whole Essex County was shutting down and going to go through this whole thing. I said, okay, well, I don't like it. I don't believe that's the best choice. But that's not the case, because South Orange is still going. Milburn is still going. They have clubs, they have parties that's open. I mean, bars is open to 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. What else? Chatham still going. Here's another thing. If the schools in Newark, East Orange, and Irvington and Orange have been closed, the kids have been missing education. They blame it on the virus. Okay, you take it as that. Me personally, I feel as though our children are more important than maybe the grandparents. Maybe because the children have a few. We don't know what's affecting with these children. We don't know what this whole non-school thing. Then your parents can't go to work, so your parents not making money. We don't know how this is going to hurt the children in the future. But they're not concerned with that. They're concerned with saving the people who have already lived. Not to say I'm against it, but it's crazy. But that's not in all communities. And this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Because Newark is more impoverished, because East Orange is more impoverished, because Irvington is more impoverished a community, they're able to get away with this stuff. They wouldn't get away with this stuff in South Orange. They wouldn't get away with this stuff in Chatham. They wouldn't get away with this stuff in Milburn or all these other cities in Essex or around Essex County. You know why? Because in America, if you don't got money, you have no power. You can go and march all you want. You can go and complain all you want. You can go and get all emotional about everything. But it's proven to time over time. And it's crazy to see, like the video I showed you was with Amiri Baraka. That's Ross Baraka's father. Ross Baraka is the mayor of Newark. Your father was basically in one video talking about the things that you're doing. Like you didn't give people stimuluses, but yet you close the schools, and now one parent can't go to work, which then decreases what that family can bring in. And most kids in Newark are not most, but a lot of kids in Newark are one family households. So if you're stopping that kid from going to school, you're then stopping the income from that one parent who was going to work, because they have to stay home and watch the kids now, because most of the daycares are closed too. But you guys don't think that far ahead. They don't think that far ahead, and it's sad to see that even our own people. If for those that don't know, I know a lot of you from different places. Ross Barack is black. This is what I try to tell you guys, that all black people aren't for black people. Know what I mean? Everybody black doesn't stand for what black people stand for. You have to understand that if you don't have money in America, you're not going to be able to control, like I said earlier, you're not going to be able to control what the government does, what anybody does to you. And I want to show you something else that I found out. It's about Social Security. Now check this out. If everybody looks at your check, right? And your check, when you go to work, you get paid, you see Social Security comes out, right? Now you pay the Social Security every time you get paid, you pay into Social Security. What's to stop the government or stop them from saying that, hey, we're not going to pay you Social Security when you retire? Let me show you something real quick. Where's that? Now, the way I break it down with layman terms, but I always try to find a video of something that's more credible, not more credible, but has more detail. This is from CNBC, so that has more details on the thing, because I don't want you guys to just take my word. I'm some random guy on YouTube, and I don't want you guys to just take my word, but understand that whenever I bring something to you, it's just the common sense explanation, but I'm gonna give you the detail one right now.
Experts predict the reserves could run out by 2035, at which point Social Security would only be able to pay about 79% of promised benefits. And all the while, any chance at earning any sort of return on surplus money coming into the fund is virtually lost.
The reality is today, every dollar that goes into Social Security immediately goes out the door to current retirees, it never has a chance to earn a positive rate of return over time. And that has really negative consequences if you look over decades of not being able to invest the money that is set aside. When you look at pension programs, about 2/3 of the assets in there are actually investment returns. And so you're stripping that opportunity away from workers.
The World
Listen, it behooves me. It behooves me to not. It behooves me. It makes me feel bad because I see my own people, and when I make these videos, these Money Talk Mondays, I make them because I believe in the future. This stuff is going to get worse and worse, and it's going to have to be explained. And at least I'll be able to say, hey, son, look, if something happens to me, or if I'm not sane in the future, I can say, hey, son, watch my videos, and I'll explain to you from my standpoint what everything was. Or daughter, same thing. But like, it's so crazy. Let me go to the room because I know I see shout out some people real quick. All right, so we shouted out. Got here. Matches, what's going on, man? Tevin King, what it do? CJ, what's up, man? New Ross and his brother Mitty. Okay. Actually, I don't know either one of them personally, but I don't judge a person by their family. I judge a person by their actions, and the actions is just from what I know of Ross Baraka, because I used to listen to a lot of Amiri Baraka's poetry and some of his sites. But what I've learned of Ross Baraka is that before he became mayor, as many times he applied to mayor, he had a whole different concept. But when he became mayor, he got more. I feel as though he got more into the system, and he started going along, started playing along to get the people's ear above him. And it just like it's it is what it is, man. Let me see. That Candace Owens, etc. Yeah, man. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them, man. It's a lot of them that just not for black people, man. When I say not for black people, it's like this. Put it this way. Like I said, there's people who can, and there's people who, and they do, and there's people who can't, and they complain. I've always been a person who can. At no point, I mean, like, of course, I came from poverty. I didn't come from having money. But once I became an adult, I've always been a person that can. I worked since I was 14. I feel as though I didn't become an adult until I was 18. Got my own place at 18. Worked a job at 18. Went to school at 18. Got my own car, paid my insurance at 18. Like, the whole thing is that people. Here's the thing. A lot of black people, they get big, they get money, they get to the status that like I'm at, where I could travel the world, I could buy houses, I can get a place in Miami, I could do this stuff, and then they forget what the struggle was. For one, the second one is some people didn't have that struggle. So when things like this happen, they're not even worried about what another person's perspective is that's struggling. You know what I mean? Like Ross Baraka. Ross Baraka had a mother. Ross Baraka had a father. Both of them were well off. Both of them had education. Like, how is he supposed to be able to relate to that kid who's home because he can't go to school now? How is he supposed to relate to that kid whose parent can't go to work now because they have to watch the kid? They can't. But because money controls the United States, because money controls if you have freedom or if you're treated equally in the United States, he doesn't care, because the average person in North ain't making what he ain't making that much. I mean, the average, unless somebody living in New York and working in North New Jersey, ain't making that much. The average person in Irvington, average family ain't making that much. The average family in Orange ain't making that much. So they was able to manipulate these governments in different areas in Essex County to do this because, hey, they ain't got no money. I'm just gonna say the average family in these cities ain't got no money. They wasn't gonna do that in West Orange. They wasn't gonna do that in South Orange. They wasn't gonna do that in Chatham. Why? Because those families have a higher income. And it's so crazy that, like, I feel as though I'm the only one to see it. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Let me see. Terrence Scott says, unfortunately, reducing the spread of the virus will negatively affect black people and people with poverty. Also, the spread of the virus will negatively affect black people the most. It's a lose-lose. Here's the thing about this, though. It's more of a lose-lose, Terrence, when you don't get a choice. At no point did the mayor say, hey, my black people, my people, not even black people, my people of Newark, New Jersey, because he's a Newark. It's more than just black people in Newark, New Jersey that's suffering. It's white people that's suffering. It's Puerto Ricans that's suffering. It's Latinos are suffering. It's Indians are suffering. He at no point did he say, "Hey, I want to have a town hall and I want to bring everybody in, and you guys let us know if we should shut down or if we should keep these businesses running. Keep these businesses running. Keep the kids in school. Let's all come to a decision." See, that's what a leader would do. But to me, he's not a good leader. In my opinion, he's not a good leader because a leader would see what the people want to do and then move from there. But I'm certain because of the response that I'm getting on YouTube, the inboxes I'm getting, the responses I'm seeing when people see me in person, majority of people in Newark would not have wanted to shut these businesses down that they worked hard to build, that they had to build capital from doing other stuff like going to work all the time to build capital to make a business so you can come shut it down and then threaten to send the SWAT or send the police to come shut down any business that's open. Come on, man, that's strong arm tactics, man. Like it behooves me that like your father for your father to be so great, for you to actually have a father for one, for your father to be so great and stand for so much and you just go against it. It's just so weird, man. It's so weird to me. Like, and to think that it's just weird, man. Like, to each his own. Like, the only reason I'm able to speak on it is because, and speak on it without emotion, is because I'm one of the people who can. I can get up and say, hey, I'm going to leave Newark until y'all come off of quarantine and go down to Miami and just wild out. I'm going to go to Houston and wild out. I'm going to go to Columbia. I can do this, but I come from Newark. I come from this poverty. I come from not being able to have a healthy meal all the time. I come from having to watch my mother go in and out the mental institution, not having a father as a male figure. I come from watching the gangs take over Newark, having to come from Science High downtown and where we went to school in the beer factory. I come from this stuff. But see, Ross Barack didn't come from this stuff. You see what I'm saying? He might have been born in Newark, but you had a whole different life. You got a mother, you got a father. They both politically, well, they're both good. They preach ifs. And you can't expect these people like this to be there for people like us. No matter if they're black, because all black people ain't for black people. And it's just so crazy that, it's weird, man. It's weird. It got 28 people in the room. I appreciate y'all for coming. Like I said, this will be a short live, probably like 30 minutes. I don't know. Or I'll talk about anything else afterwards. But let's shout some more people out. Bawana, what's going on? Or Bawana. Michael Harrison, what's going on? T-Dot in the building. Michael Haram. Oh, shoot, I probably did that wrong. They could help with Fed stimulus money, but that got shut down. Yes, I did see how the Fed stimulus money well, it's not like the stimulus money got shut down. It's just that once again, if you don't come from a certain lifestyle, a lot of people don't know how to take themselves out of that lifestyle and put themselves into. They don't have empathy. A lot of people don't have empathy. You see, there's people in the Congress that believe that stimulus is not even needed, and then there's people in Congress say, well, it's needed, but it needs to be targeted. But here's the thing: they don't mind if somebody burns through their savings. Imagine your family had enough to save for the last 10 years, save for the last 15 years. Just you had to sweat overtime, all that. You had to work doubles. The kids had to stay with their grandparents, and then the government quarantine. The government shuts down everything, and you got to burn through all that in a year. How is that fair? How is that just? It's not. But you see, like I said in the title, you have to have money to get equality in America. You have to have money to get freedom in America. And it's on every level, it's that way. And that's why I say, like, what Ross Barack is doing is the same thing what the Democrats and the Republicans are doing in Congress and Senate and the presidency. It's the exact same thing. But see, that don't work for the majority of us that went through a different struggle, man. It's trash, man. It's trash. I meant poor with a focus on black people. I agree with you on the point of lack of empathy. Definitely, man. Batu, though, what's up? He says, It's a tough situation. Do business and risk lives. Here's the thing, though. If the CDC says, the CDC, we're not talking about what Trump said. We're not talking about what the World Health Organization said, which we could. We're talking about what the CDC says. If the CDC says 3% of the people that catch this virus, it's actually less than 3%, to be honest. It's like 2.7 or 2.8. So less than 3% of the people that catch this virus die, right? But 97% of the people are affected if you shut down the economy, right? If you shut down stores, if you lock down a community, 97% of the people are affected. Maybe more than 3% people die. Maybe more of the future of our generations are going to get more damage. We're not going to know until further down the line how bad this year has messed up our kids, has messed up our grandkids. And see, people are more focused on possibility of saving lives here by shutting everything down, rather than what I think they should do is quarantine. Just quarantine everybody that has pre-existing conditions and everyone that is older than 65. Tell them, hey, we're going to make life easier for you, but you cannot intermingle with everyone else. We're going to allow everyone else to go to work and the government to keep going, because guess what? The kids are the future. The kids are the future. It just feels like if you don't think that's a better way, then you're selfish. You're selfish. If I was 65 years old and I had pre-existing conditions and I knew that me not quarantining myself and separating myself from the rest of the world would make sure that the kid would affect the kids going to school, I would quarantine myself because I'm not selfish like that. But it's not. It's not. But it is what it is. What it is. People just don't. They don't have the empathy. They can't see the future. They can't see what isn't apparent. Yes, apparent in your eyes, people are dying. Okay, but it's a bigger risk of what you're doing to these kids. It's a bigger risk of what you're doing by shutting down the economy. But guess what? Mayor Ras Baraka and politicians, they don't see that because they didn't come from that. They didn't come from that. They came from a silver spoon or came from, I had a tough time because I was black. Yeah, but your parents were both paid. Man, cut it out. It's just so crazy. Pete Buttigieg's father is Dr. Cornel West. Power corrupts most people. Shucks. That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know, man. I don't think that power could corrupt you if you can't go pee. Turn the light on, go pee. I don't think power could corrupt you if you came from this, man. Like, here's the thing. There's a lot of celebrities. We're almost at 30 minutes, so we're all right. There's a lot of celebrities, a lot of rap artists, and a lot of wealthy people who, sold drugs for a living and they got rich. Now, I don't have no problem if that's what you do. That's on you. I'm not going to say you're good or bad. I'm just going to say you did that. But people don't understand, if you didn't do it a way of without hurting somebody else, then you're not going to have empathy for that. You know what I mean? So if Ross grew up maybe without a father and grew up without a mother, or grew up in poverty with nobody lead his way, he would, if he gained power, he would be more strict. He would be more like understanding of the people, how they struggle, knowing that, okay, I know there's nothing I can do to make this stimulus come from the government. So what I'm not going to do is lock down my community. I don't care what the thing is. What we'll do is we'll set up centers that will separate the anybody that's high risk or older crowd that's more risk of dying. We're going to put you all in one area, and you guys are going to stay there, and we're going to facilitate whatever you need to get. And we're going to separate you from the rest of the community so the rest of the community can go on, so the kids can go to school, so that the people can go to work, so that we can keep this economy going. Because we know if this economy fails in North, it's going to hurt my people the most. As a mayor, that's your job, to say, hey, I'm going to do what's best for my people, not what's best for 3%, but what's best for the 97%. Shout out to Andre and Andrea from Love Crossing Borders, y'all. Make sure y'all check his channel out. Definitely good stuff, man. He got the stimulus channel, and he got the Love Crossing Borders channel, where they travel around the world. Him and his wife travel around the world, and they show you life through a couple's viewpoint, and it's dope, man. It's dope. Fitness and travel life. What's going on, man? Where you at in the background? You in Colombia? Oh man, It looks like is that the wall? Is that Colombia, Cartagena? What's going on? Let me see. The two couldn't be more politically. Man, if you're talking about Ross Barack and his father, bro, I just don't understand it, bro. Like, I don't understand how you can be that. How can you know how they say the apple can't fall that far from the tree? How? Yo, bro, like I've watched Ross Barack, Amari Baraka for like three years, like 3-4 years. And you know, I've watched this whole stuff. Like, you know, I don't know, man. It is what it is, you know. Judge Zilla was on Bernard's channel earlier. He just lost his father, unfortunately. My condolences, man. I don't know who Judge Zilla is, but that's tough, man. It's definitely tough to lose a loved one, man. It definitely is tough to lose a loved one, and it's not putting any emphasis on, oh, we should just forget about the people who are sick or just forget about the people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we need to separate them people from the people who can get through this virus and not die. We need to separate the people who are older and who are pre-existing conditions from the kids who need to go to school and get that. And if any of the teachers in school are old like that and or pre-existing conditions, swap them out, put a substitute there. But we got to keep these schools going because it only affects the worst of us when these kids are not in school. This online learning don't work. Most kids don't even have computers. If they do have computers, they don't have online. If they do have online, nobody in their family knows how to use any of this stuff. So at the end of the day, the worst thing that can happen is not a death of a person who's 70 years old or a death of a person with a pre-existing condition. The worst thing is these kids in the future that's going to run our country, that's going to inherit our wealth, are not being taught. I pay $800, and this is once again what I mean by you gotta have money to get equality in the United States. I pay $800 by myself. I pay $800 a month for my kid to go to Catholic school because Catholic school has been open since September. Catholic schools have been open. I'm not religious, but Catholic schools have been open since September. But public school, I mean, in person, not public schools though, not public schools, not charter schools. Catholic schools have been open. Charter schools open, I believe, in some charter schools open in I think it was like October or something like that. Some of them. But once again, you need to have money if you want equality, man. Them public schools in Chatham, oh, they open. Them public schools in Milburn up to grade 4, they open. But them public schools in the hood where the people ain't got no money, what you think? I know I'm getting to you guys slow. It's just crazy, man. I was all for the lockdowns in the beginning, but the second wave closures are BS. Yes, we have more knowledge now. Yes, the virus and politicians playing around with the stimulus too. Listen, man, you can't do both, man. Everybody says, listen, why aren't we like why can't we just do like London where they just lock down and everybody stays inside and you cure the disease? That's cool. Why can't we be like Australia where everybody just locks down and stay inside and it cures the disease? That's cool. Why can't we be like China where this is why we can't be like them? Because in all those countries, they have recurring stimulus, not one-time stimulus. They have monthly stipends. In Canada, they getting $2,000 a month to stay inside. In Australia, they're getting $2,500 a month to stay inside. In London, they're getting $1,700 a month to stay inside. And I'm not getting this off the news, people. I'm not just getting this off the news where it could be fake. Bro, I got people that live in London. I got people that live in Canada I talk to. I got people that live in Australia I talk to. And they getting money. So when it comes to the United States, you gotta be ready to understand that you need money for that. And to go more on that, I want to bring up this next one because I'm talking for a minute. I want to bring up this next video about it was from this guy. This guy's good too. I watch the channel a lot. His name is George Gramman, and what George Gramman says is going to blow your mind. Check this out. Can you guys see this? Oh, no, we can't. All right.
Where would you go if you want to leave Western countries in COVID vaccine madness? That's a great question. That's something I've asked myself a lot. And I mean, I'm not here to say that you should take a vaccine or you shouldn't take a vaccine, but if you're one of those people that doesn't want to take one, I mean, what do you do? What do you do if they come out with and by the way, you know, if you look at even if this vaccine that they have goes through, for the average Joe, they're not going to be able to get it until maybe the summer of 2020, or excuse me, 2021. So, but what do you do if they put a gun to your, well, not literally, but if they say, listen, you have to take this vaccine, or if you don't, then you just can't go anywhere. You can't travel, you can't go to the grocery store. And in the vaccine, they put something that, so you can read it. So they put like a metal detector every time you go to the grocery store that beeps to say that you're clear or whatever. And so sure, you can not get the vaccine, but you just can't get on a plane, you can't get on a bus, you can't go into a grocery store, you can't go into a restaurant, you can't go into a gym. What do you do?
Now, this is not this. Of course, this he's not saying that this is what's going to happen. He's not saying that this is what's going to happen at all. But you have to understand that once you give somebody power, the gloves are off. They're willing to do they get up to do anything they want to do with it, man. Once somebody feels as though people are happy with the status quo, well, okay, we'll go lock down. We'll take your advice and we'll stay inside the house. Oh, they're listening to me, huh? Let's see what else we can get away with. Let's see what else we can get away. Oh, we don't gotta give them no money either. Let's see what else we can get away with. It's just ridiculous, man. Where I stop? Okay. Tell me I'm feeling a pinch, man. Damn. Equality and freedom cost. Yes, it does, man. It definitely does. And Andre is a brother. Andre is a brother who lives in Colombia. He lives in Colombia. I mean, he made that transition. Now, the crazy thing is that they want you to believe like if you go somewhere, you're just stuck. You're not. If you go to a country and it don't work out for you, you can come back to the United States, build up something and try something else. But they don't even want you to go over and see because they're so afraid that if you do go, you may never come back, or you may find a better way. How would that work? One could pose the same argument. How would what work? Let me see. Which one are you talking about? I want to just assume that you're talking about the how to separate, but I can give you a general way of how it will work to separate the people with pre-existing conditions and the older people from the other people who are working. I can give you that. If that's what you're asking, let me know. Jimmy Mack says, I can't believe we still have clowns that think this is all about the virus. This is a new world order and Ross has to bow to it. Yeah, man, like, see, this is how to get this. Let me tell you how they get you, Jimmy Mack. They'll if you say that what you're saying now, they'll say, oh, you're saying the virus is not real. But in reality, that's not what you're saying at all. But they'll put it on you that you're saying the virus is not real, or that it shouldn't be taken serious, or it shouldn't be this. That's what they'll put on you, rather than saying, oh, maybe the virus is real, but the government is using it to take advantage. It's a separation from if the virus has real effects, then if you're taking advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say the girl, you have a girl's drunk, right? And the government comes, a guy comes and has sex with that woman. They're taking advantage of the woman because she's drunk. Now, it's not saying that the girl's not drunk. It's just saying that they're taking advantage of that thing. And that's the same thing they're doing here. There's a virus that's affecting the world. It's a virus that's affecting communities and all over and stuff. And what they're doing around the world is taking advantage of it. They're saying, oh, we can use this to print out money and give it to the wealthy. Why not? We can use this money to show our dominance over the people who are poor. Why not? And this it's so crazy, man. Curtis Williams, what's up, man? What about the younger generation? They're the problem. The younger generation is never the problem. The problem is always the older generation, because the older generation is who teaches the younger generation. The younger generation don't get these ideals and these actions because they just got it. That's not something they just make up. It's something they're taught. You cannot say that because Trump came from power and money, and look at him, he's a but that's different because see, here's the thing. Trump came from power and money, but power and money doesn't give you quality, it doesn't give you empathy, it doesn't give you ethics. It doesn't. It actually is harder. It's harder to be ethical when you're rich. It's very, very hard to be ethical when you're rich because you got the money. Especially if it's passed down from generation to generation. It's hard to see the efficacy in treating people equally that don't have what you have. So I'm not trying to give Trump a leeway, but it's just a fact, man. It's just a fact. Wow, there's a lot of people still talking. Yeah. Think about that. Are we going to start a leprechaun? I see where you're going with that, but going down that path kind of makes a person look more like a conspiracy theorist. So I try to stay away from that path. I try to steer away from that path and just put out the common sense. Now I want to say facts. My common sense perception of what's going on. Common sense meaning, okay, I know if I throw a ball against a wall, it's going to hit it. Common sense. I mean, what angle and all that stuff don't matter, but it's going to hit the wall. Fedora Fox, what's going on? Globalism tactic for one world currency to world trade. That's deep. That's deep. I don't know if it will work because in order to have one currency, most countries would have to, even though we have a reserve currency, it's still not one currency. In order to have one currency, most countries would have to agree to everything. And, I don't see that happening. Jimmy Mack is so right. The New World Order, it is about that almighty dollar. And I hope every last one of y'all investing in the stock market. The stock market. It's like bank, right? I don't know if you guys see. I try to speak everything in layman terms because I'm from Newark, New Jersey, born and raised East Orange, Irvington. It's like rolling dice. When you rolling dice, you don't bet against the bank. You go with the bank. You know what I mean? You go with the bank. You know what I mean? If the that's a bad example. But yeah, man, you gotta go where the money's going. If they're making money in the stock market, if you don't have enough to invest in the property, you got to put your money in the stock market. You know what I mean? You got to. Let me see. New World Order. 2,000 Connecticut. Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely, man. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Older people. Okay. I know. Let me go back to your question. Okay. All right. So you want some? All right. Let me do it again. All right. So he says, how would the argument work with the old people and with the people of pre-existing conditions? Okay. So check this out. We live in a world where they have Uber Eats. Anything you want can be delivered to you. You have family that can bring you stuff that you need to bring without making contact with you. If you say, okay, anybody over the age, just for all intents and purposes, anybody over the age of 65, you have a higher risk of dying. Anybody who has a pre-existing condition, you have a higher risk of dying from this. You cannot leave your house unless during the time that we set up for you to go to the grocery store to get you got to go. So from 7 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock, the only people that can go to grocery stores and everything like that will be older people and people with pre-existing conditions. You would then focus, the government or the city would then focus the money on making sure that those people are most protected in these places. That's one. Everyone else would go to work. The people at the stores would wear masks because they're at the stores working. So now the only risk of them catching something is from the people who are at the stores wearing masks. They're not going across, they're not bumping into somebody in the supermarket who is a younger person or who's been in and out and around. They're bumping into other people just like that. Then they go home, right? Then you separate the people who are working by saying, hey, if you live with somebody who's 65 and up, we're gonna establish houses or places because there's a lot of stuff big. We're going to establish places near hospitals where these people 65 and older, and people with pre-existing conditions can go. Next thing, we're going to make it so that there's a hospital dedicated to people where the only people that can go to this hospital are people 65 and up and people with pre-existing conditions. Therefore, the people that need the help the most can get the help the most without having to worry about somebody that's not a high risk or not older than 65 getting service before them. So not saying that they're not going to be able to get service. It's just going to be different hospitals set up. Like you can use, like when I live in New Jersey, you have when I live in Newark, you have Beth Israel Hospital and you have UMDMJ Hospital. If the city, if the mayor says, hey, I want everybody that's 65 years old and up and everybody that's a pre-existing condition to go to Beth Israel, because Beth Israel is going to have all the ventilators. It's going to have all of the help and doctors. It's going to have everybody. And the only ones going to be able to go there are the people who are pre-existing or high risk of death. Everybody else go to UMDMJ. Yes, UMDMJ will be more crowded, but those people that we worry about dying, they'll get the necessary help they want, and they won't be contracting it that much because they won't be out in the public. They won't be out and around. But nobody wants to take the time to think about that because they don't want to tell people who are 65 and up that you can't go nowhere. They don't want to tell people who have pre-existing conditions that you have to follow this path, unlike everybody else. But that's what's best for the world. It's better to go with what's good for 97% and help the 3% on the side than to go with everybody being locked down, and that hurts everybody. You know what I mean? Let me see where do we end it? I can't. It's 30 people in the room. I appreciate y'all for coming. I mean, you can like the video if you want. If not, it's cool. I just want to get this message out. I'm already 41 minutes in. You know I'm gonna go an hour, but let's go. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like I said, once again, Terrence, I mean, I understand where you're coming from with that, man. But at the end of the day, I really believe it's how you were raised, man. I was, like I said, I was raised with empathy for others because I didn't have. So I can't get wealthy and just turn around and be like, oh, screw you. That's the reason why me personally, I couldn't sell drugs. The reason why I couldn't sell drugs is because my father was on drugs and I never met my father. I knew he wasn't in my life. But when I met him, but he wasn't in my life. And when I met him, I seen he was on drugs and stuff. And I couldn't turn around and do that to other people because what I look like. Why would I want to put somebody else's kid through that problem? You know what I mean? I'm not saying there's something bad with selling drugs because everybody had different lifestyles, but that's the lifestyle I had, and that's why I can't be like that. So if Ross Baraka grew up in the same condition that most of us in North growing up with no father or only one parent household, then he will understand that telling us that we can't go to school, telling us that our parents got to stay home with us because we can't go to school is not the best choice for the future of the kids. What George describing is mark off the beat system. Yeah, they will not change a thing. This is the new normal unless you fight it with civil liberties back. But I agree with you, Truth Terrorist. I agree. I just don't know. I don't think that there's enough people that see what's going on to make a difference and fight back. I don't think it's enough. I make these videos in expectation that I might get one person to understand. I don't think that a majority of people are going to understand exactly what's going on or what could possibly, I'm not going to say guarantee is going on, but what possibly seems like is going on. A lot of people ain't going to understand that, man. And until you understand, until you not understand, but until you become aware of what's going on, it's a lose-lose situation. K Horton, what up, man? What's going on, K Horton? I'm not a Bible person, but I'm not against it either. Whatever works for people works for them. It says Revelations 13:7, COVID-19 and other systems are dress rehearsals. Man, listen, I don't know. Like I don't know what that Revelations that song says, but it's crazy, man. Oh wow, it's a lot of people. Chat Center Mac, what's going on? What makes this vaccine so special? Wait, all right. What makes this vaccine so special that the government will put something in it? Kids are vaccinated every year for school. Why not then? People get the flu shot every year. Why not then? My concerns are long term. I don't particularly say that they're going to put something in the vaccine or anything like that. Me personally, no, I can't prove that, and I don't have any theories on it. I play what other people say, and I say, okay, it's a possibility, but I only focus on what I can see and what I know common sense. Common sense is not going to tell me anything that why would they put something in the vaccine, but common sense is telling me I understand when somebody is taking advantage of a situation. It don't matter if you poor, rich. You understand when somebody is taking advantage of a situation. And right now, the government is taking advantage of the situation. Now, whether or not the vaccine has some kind of thing in it, or we'll all get superpowers from taking it, who knows? But there is something going on. There's something going on. You're absolutely right, my brother. The virus is real, but it's not killing people like they're saying. The government will take advantage of the virus because they're the ones that put it out here. Listen, man. Here's another thing you gotta understand. Listen to this. Just listen. You don't gotta agree with me. Just listen. Okay. Everyone's going to get tested for COVID. Right now, they say it's a high amount of thing. Let's check this out. So the media says in the fall there's going to be a big COVID, a big surge of the virus, right? So now everyone's going to get tested. You got a little sneeze, you go get tested, right? So now you got a little cold and you're going somewhere where there's most likely a lot of people to have the virus. But now you're going to get tested and everybody, 6 feet away, but it's still a lot of people in the same area and a lot of people have a virus. How do I know that I don't have just a regular cold? And then when I go get tested, now I got it because I've been around all these people who've been tested. I mean, who had it that's going to get tested. It's just crazy, man. Like, it's just too much. It's too much, man. And like I said, the whole thing they're doing is saying, hey, if you either think the virus is real or you think it's not real. Neither one of them matter. All that matters is what the government's reaction to that virus is. Whether you believe it's real or fake, that doesn't matter. What matters is the government is taking advantage of the fact that it actually is, if people believe there's a virus or that there is a virus, and they're taking advantage to test out their limits of power. It's simply put, man. Because think about this. Come on, somebody make sense of this. Somebody make sense of this, please. Somebody make sense of it. Anybody in the room, make sense of this. I can't go to a bar to party. Okay. I can't go outside after 10 o'clock. Okay. But I can go to work where there's 200 people at my job. But I can go to the supermarket where there's 300 people at the supermarket. That makes sense? Because that don't make no sense to me. That don't make no sense to me. There's less people in the bar than in the supermarket. There's less people at people's jobs than that's outside after 10 o'clock at night. So how does that make sense? It's not logical. It's like people are so afraid of stuff. Like, even if it's a real virus, which it probably is, people are so afraid that they will think illogically. They don't use logic. They're just so afraid. It's crazy. I know I'm holding up stuff. Got that one. If you can't freeze the Constitution. That's crazy. That's crazy. He got a point. You got a point, Truth Terrorist. He says if you can freeze, like make sure that none of the Constitution applies for 3% or 3% kill rate, then what about a heart attack or car wrecks? But see, they don't want to say that. I told you, every time somebody brings that topic up and say, oh, well, cigarettes kill more people than C19, or heart attacks and car crashes or alcohol kills more people than C19. The only response that they're always saying is, oh, so you don't believe the virus is real. But that's just the narrative they put on the news. They're not going to ever put anybody on the news that really makes sense, that doesn't sound like a conspiracy theorist. because the only people they put on the news to allow them to explain it is someone who sounds like a conspiracy theorist and say, "Oh my God, this is fake. You don't want me. You want me to wear a mask." Oh, and those are the people they put on the news, so it makes it sound ignorant. I mean, it makes the whole thing, the whole theory that this virus and what the government is doing sound is not right, and going against it sounds ignorant. Those are the people who they put in the front lines. It's so crazy, man. How can you not see it happening? It's going on already, and it's coming. Digital currency. Listen, man. I want to say I agree with you, Curtis. I want to say I agree with you, but I'm not there yet, man. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. When I say conspiracy theorist, I mean somebody who really believes that everybody's against you, like completely against you. No, I think taking advantage of something and being against something is two different things. But I think it could be true eventually. I don't want them to make me out as a conspiracy theorist, man. They want 80-90% of people to get it. That's unprecedented billions for fights. There's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot of stuff that makes sense, man. Shout out to Milano, the travel boy, in the building. What's going on, bro? Let's see. Plus, there's nowhere near enough time to test the virus on everyone. It takes years. The flu vaccine is. Listen, man. It's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense, bro. Think about this. The flu vaccine is only 30% effective. The measles is like 90% effective or 80% effective, actually. 80% something effective. Chickenpox is like 80-something% effective after the second dose. They're telling everybody's coming out saying this vaccine is 94% effective, 90% effective. Now, granted, when it came to the flu shot, because I'm a parent, I have kids, I got a flu shot because I wanted my son to see that a flu shot would work for him too. So I got a flu shot a long time ago, like 2 years ago, and my son got a flu shot. So I'm not completely against vaccinations, but I'm not taking this vaccination. This is outrageous. See, the flu is something that can really do damage regardless of nothing from what I've seen. But this apparently affects people who are older. What's the name? Way more. So yeah, I'm not going to take a vaccination for something, or give my son a vaccination for something that even if he caught it, is not likely to affect him in a mortality way or even a serious. It just doesn't make sense. It's not logical. For me, the issue isn't taking the vaccine. I just want more tests ran so that I know 10 years from now I'm still good. One Eye Jack says, so I'm 65, jog daily. All right, let's take this into the back. Okay, so I'm 65. I jog daily. That's cool. I work at a high power banker, still smashing broads and wake up at 6 a.m. to live. You gonna keep that guy in the house? Listen, I'm going to tell that guy, listen, it's your choice, but we prefer just to say the same way they're keeping everybody in the house now. I'm going to say that same thing to them. I just won't say it to the people that's most likely. I'm going to say, hey, listen, 65. If it's proven that you fall in that 3%, if you're proven that you fall in that 3%, I may say, okay, you can jog daily, and we're gonna create a park or a facility where you can go to jog, with other people your age and stuff like that. We're gonna create a facility just until because now we got a vaccine. Just until we get the vaccine, we'll create that place because it's let's say it's 95% likely that you can die from this, but everybody else is only 3% chance they can die or something like that. So that's how I would do it. If I was the mayor, I would say, listen, you gotta give up. You don't have to give up your liberties, but if you choose to go out and do this stuff, then we can't stop you because we're not. I don't believe in just stopping people. If people want to do what you're going to do. Do whatever you want to do. I don't believe in stopping people, but I want you to have the option to be able to go to a park where there's only people that's 65 and up or high risk, and everything is set up for you guys so you guys don't catch it. I would rather that be that than tell you that you can't go out. I'm giving you this option, but if you want to go out and mingle with the rest and risk it, that's it. But if you catch something, you go to this hospital with the people that with the ventilators at, because you're more high risk. I will only allow people that have high risk and older people to get in the hospital with Beth Israel. Everybody else go to UMDMJ for everything else. Yes, it might get a little bit overcrowded in UMDMJ, but the people who have more high risk of dying, they'll have a hospital that's not packed at Beth Israel. You're opening the doors for discrimination lawsuit for the elderly. Yeah, but here's the thing. They can open the doors for all that, but if we can prove in court that this virus affects you in more of a deadly way, then we can prove we can have justification why we had to separate you from the rest of the population. It's justification. Like a court will say, yes, we were able to do this because you guys are scientifically proven to die more than people under. You're scientifically proven to die at a high rate versus somebody who's not. So the judge would say, well, this virus is an epidemic and we're trying to save lives, and you would not get any money off of that because of that. That's just how it works. The same way that nobody now can go to court and sue for them keeping us in the house during a lockdown. It'd be the exact same thing for elderly or for people who have pre-existing conditions. They won't be able to go to court and sue because it's a lockdown. So that in my opinion. Wow, this is deep. All right, we got 4 more minutes and then we out of here. I don't want to test the vaccine. And travel, what's going on, man? Corona Live, Russ Pandemic. And travel, like I said, I don't want to go that far into it. I'm not going to say if it's real or fake. I don't know. It seems real to me. But the one thing that is definitely seems more like a fact, and I can back this, is that the government is using it to the advantage to dictate, not democracy, dictate. What happened to common cold and bronchitis? Mm-hmm. Who would take the vaccine? Okay, let's do that. That's a good one. Okay, we got 31 people in the room. Hopefully you guys hit the like button. Hopefully you subscribe. If you're in a room right now, we're gonna do a quick poll. Type 1 if you would take the virus vaccine. Type 2 if you wouldn't take the virus vaccine. I just want to get see how many we can do real quick. I wish we could do polls on this, but let's see who would take the vaccine in the room. Scientific, I don't even know that either. Look up Senator Jansen, the Minneapolis, Minnesota. He said months ago that that's crazy, man. I don't put it against. I don't put it against, man. You got to understand. Basically, what I said, in the United States, if you ain't got the money, equality is out the question. In the United States, if you ain't got the money, freedom is out the question. So he might be a doctor and a senator, but he ain't the people with the money. So they're gonna put him under the bus, and they're gonna make him seem like a conspiracy theorist, and nobody's gonna listen to him. Sweden went gangster. I think they're better off. They're gonna make it seem like Sweden isn't better off. They're gonna make it seem like Sweden isn't better off. But the thing that Sweden didn't do correctly is they didn't. As I gave you an example in this, how you could take care of your elderly and take care of your pre-existing conditions and just separate them from the people who would do that. Sweden just said we're gonna let it be. They never took care of their elderly, and that was the issue. That was the issue I see Sweden did. What Sweden did was great. They just let everything go. Cool. But what they didn't do correct is create a facility for the people 65 and older and for people with pre-existing conditions to be separated from the general population who could pass the disease around, could pass the virus around until it became a herd immunity. That's what they didn't do. They didn't separate, and that's where Sweden went wrong, and they had a lot of deaths. But if they would have separated, they would have the ideal system of how everybody in the world should have followed. If they would have separated the elderly and provided the elderly and pre-existing condition people with a system. Y'all voted for Biden, so you got to follow other OG. Listen, I didn't vote, so But but that's the thing though. They never made that. What they should have did, what they wouldn't do, is made that a question. Just the way that they made marijuana in New Jersey a question on the presidential ballot. They should have made it a question. Do you want to wear masks? Do you not want to wear masks? Then had the whole United States just vote on it. Then had made another question. Should we mandate the vaccine? Shouldn't we mandate the vaccine for kids in school or something like that? Then had America answer the question. But they didn't do any of that. You know why? Because it would have separated what people really wanted to know. Some people voted for Biden thinking that Biden was the better. They just voted simply because they wanted a better coronavirus response. Some people voted for Trump because they just wanted a more relaxed coronavirus response. But neither one of those votes did that. No matter who you voted for, because neither one of the people really said this is what we're gonna do. K Hart, what up, man? What's the upside to it being a hoax? Like I said, me personally, I don't think it's a hoax. I don't think it's a hoax. I don't care. I mean, I don't even know if it's real or fake, but there is an upside to this happening. The upside to this happening is that the governments around the world can now take more control of the people. Think about this. I said in one of my previous lives, when you separate, when you divide and conquer, you can get more done than trying to get everything at once. When the world was globalized a lot more, when people was traveling all over the place, you can go outside of the United States and look back in like, yo, y'all doing some dumb stuff over there. I'm in Colombia looking like y'all doing some dumb stuff over there. I'm in London looking like y'all doing some dumb stuff over there. Or you can leave London, come to the United States and say, dang, y'all ain't got no freedom over there. Y'all answering to a king. But see, that came with globalization. The knowledge of understanding that the world doesn't just work in a place where you live. See, that's a big problem with a lot of people. A lot of people don't travel. And when you don't travel, you only know what's in your community. You only know what's in the places you live. You don't know that this country might not look that way. This country might not look that way either. You might have the only country that works the way that your country works, and every other country works differently. But until you leave that country, you are going to swear up and down that your country is the right way to do it. And that's why the government could possibly, not saying it's definite, could possibly have wanted to use this virus, not hoax, but use this virus to regain control over their people individually, divide and conquer. It's not a conspiracy to see that we're going to digital currency at some stage. No, it's at some stage, yes. At some stage, possibly. At some stage, yes. But the way people make it seem is like, oh, this whole thing, you gotta make sure you separate everything, because people they go into rants. People make it seem like, oh, this whole thing was set up so we can be digital currency, but it's not like that. But they use it to the advantage to create that. I mean, think about it. Like, when and ever have we ran out of change? There's people, places in the United States running out of change. We've never ran out of change. That don't even make sense. I go to the store, I go to McDonald's. Oh, please pay with exact change because we don't have any change. So yeah, I mean they using it to their advantage, but it took them 8 months to test. Yo, they say that on the news too. They say most of America won't even have the vaccine until at least the middle of 2021. But in the meantime, no stimulus, government control, lockdowns. Like I said, you gotta have the money, man. You got this is the purpose why I bought that place in Miami. Yes, I could rent it out and get money when eventually I want to rent it out and get money off of it. But I needed to have a place outside of New Jersey, because New Jersey is one of them places that lock down. New York, New Jersey, California, and there's probably one other place that really, really locks down during this whole thing. I need to have a way out, because I don't want to be one of the people that can't do. And it made me feel like there's no hope for some people, because of the fact that even our own people, like in the mayor of Newark, Ross Baraka, even with a great father that you had that stood for everything that you're going against right now, even with the knowledge of bringing uproar by that, you still come here and you just don't understand the plight of your people. It's crazy, man. Once again, I'm going to say it. I said it once. I said it before, man. All black people ain't for black people, man. Foreign real talk. My solution is I'm bouncing out of this country. I'm gonna look in Mexico. Can you give areas that are good for brothers? Playa del Carmen, man. Honestly, if you're gonna go to Mexico, because we're over an hour now. If you're gonna go to Mexico, Playa del Carmen is a place that you can go and you can live for an extremely long amount of time and not have to pay a lot of money. And if you could work from online, if you could do your job from home, boy, I know at least 3 people right now that are expat, and right now, shout out to BG, shout out to Social Light Skin, shout out to oh my god, I forgot his name, Tone, and I forgot it too, but they're all over there right now in Playa del Carmen, and you can buy if you're really serious about it. If you like, and the whole thing is that you can always leave the place. Like I said, you can always leave the place if it doesn't work out, and go to another place. But if you wanted to buy a condo over there, you could probably get a condo for like 50,000-60,000 and just get a studio or 1-bedroom condo and just live there. I mean, and then come back to the United States when you want to. I just don't want to hope for another stimulus. People need it bad, man. Listen, it's tough, man. And if the stimulus come, it's going to come with a lot of stipulations. I got to move a little quicker, I'm trying to get your messages. Fly gonna lock you up, bro. Listen, Goody Mob song called Cell Therapy, Chopped and Screwed 19. I'm gonna check it out. Goody Mob, Cell Therapy. This vaccine makes no logical sense. It usually takes about 10 years. Listen, man, they pushing through everything. You see all them asking the FDA to push through. The issue is that, man, listen, man, it's a lot of stuff that makes you question, makes you say, but sounds more like the Japanese prison camps they had here, but for the elderly. Whatever they're doing right now with the lockdowns for everybody, if they solely put that on the elderly people or people who had pre-existing conditions, or not even put that on, just made it available for them to have that option. See, that I think that's probably kind of what the problem is here too. Putting it on and you locking them down, but you don't even really have to lock them down. But give them that option to be in that predicament. Separate the hospitals and tell them, hey, be in this predicament right here. But if you do go out in the public, you don't have to go to the hospital that everybody goes to. We have a hospital specifically that only works with elderly people and people with pre-existing conditions, because all the ventilators, or most of the ventilators, most of the stuff that we need to make sure you don't die is going to be in that hospital. And that hospital won't be packed because there are way more people that are under the age of 65 or don't have pre-existing conditions than those that are over 65 and do. So if you just gave those people their own hospital, bruh, it would save so much. Yes, it would be other people that's going to hospitals that are our age, but they would get over it. They would get better. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, maybe not putting them in the camp, but at least giving them that option. I'm not high risk. I'm just 65 doing things 30 can do soon. Daily slippery slope. No, that's what I'm saying. When Jack, I hope you heard what I just said to Andre. It's not that you are imprisoned and having to stay in this community that they're going to build, that they can build, but rather you have that option to be in that community or not. But the most important thing is that if you do somehow catch something, you have a hospital that's dedicated only to people 65 and up and people with pre-existing conditions. A hospital, because that's where people die. People mostly die in the hospital because it's overcrowded. But if you separate the people who are most likely or more likely, way more likely to live through this virus than are not, and give them their own hospital, those people will have more of a chance of surviving. but it's too simple for Ross Baraka or for any other government official to do, because it takes away from them being able to have power over the masses. Because if you do something simple like that, then you have no reason to lock down all the other people. So you can't just control all the other people, because you saw that solution. Because the way they control other people is they're saying, hey, we have to do this lockdown so that our hospitals don't get overcrowded. This is how they control other people. They're saying we have to do this lockdown so our hospitals don't get overcrowded. Well, here, how about this? Create a hospital strictly for people 65 and up and people with pre-existing conditions. Do not allow anybody else to go to the hospital. Everybody else goes to the other hospital in the city. Okay, the other hospital might get overcrowded, but guess what? Nobody in that hospital that's younger is going to be, not nobody, but the majority, the high 99% of the people that go to the hospital that are younger and or younger than 65 or don't have pre-existing conditions are not going to die from the virus. And then the people who go to this other hospital, which is wide open because now everybody can't just go to the hospital, they're getting the help they need. But see, that once again, that takes away the power from the government to be able to control the people. So why would they do it? You know what I mean? You guys are moving fast. Like I'm trying to get to the end. I'm trying to get to the end of the list. And once I get to the end of the list, then we'll end this live. And Fly gonna lock you up. Like I said, it definitely wouldn't be mandatory. At no point did I say mandatory, but you have to give them that option. And then if they don't want to take that option, let that be on them. But they also will still be able to get to the hospital first because of the fact that they have a separate hospital. Hypothetical person. I know, but I was just breaking it down when I 2. Oh, so 2 means you wouldn't take it. 2, he wouldn't take it. Exactly, Tevin. Exactly, Lawrence. Like 2. Dang, Dre, he ain't taking it either. Okay, 1, 2. Also, we got a lot of 2s here. No, wouldn't take it. No vaccine. 2. I mean, for somebody who's older than 65 or has a pre-existing condition, I can understand wanting to take it because the side effects. You know how they say the side effects can't be worse than the cure. I mean, can't be worse than the actual virus. Well, for somebody with pre-existing conditions or 65 and up, the cure might be better than the side effects. You know what I mean? I mean, the cure might be better than not having a cure. Hell no. I'm not taking it yet. Okay. Please save this as a replay. Very good live. I mean, I like talking to everybody, man. It's dope. This live is only good because you guys are having great comments, man. You guys have great comments, and I'm able to respond and give my opinion. I don't want to say it's facts. I'm just a YouTube creator. It's just my opinion from a common sense aspect. Whiskey, what's going on? Does anyone in here know or have been to the hospital? Yes. Okay, look. Does anyone here know anyone or have been to the hospital? Yes, I know people who've passed away from it, and I know people who've been to the hospital. I mean, it's not good. We've gotten better at treating it, but it's real complications worth recovery. Right. Which is the reason why you separate the people who are more likely to get over it, people under 65 and without pre-existing conditions, and the ones with pre-existing conditions. Because in the hospitals, the ones that are dying are the ones that are having these complications because of the pre-existing conditions, or their body is too old to do that. These are the ones that are dying. And there are other ones that are dying, or there are other ones that are dying or that have wishing, but we're talking about less than 1%. Now, this is the CDC website saying this. This is not me, just a regular person. You can go to cdc.gov, and get the details for yourself. This is the CDC website saying less than 1% under 65 without pre-existing conditions are dying. Less than 1%. So, yeah, like it's like playing lotto. You don't want to win. U.S. non-citizens, national U.S. citizen, Trump is still the president and will remain. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know, man. It's let me see. Something behind the scenes. It's definitely, listen, man. you gonna hear me? You guys gonna hear me through this whole thing? Say I don't want to be put in the conspiracy theorist category, so I say it's possible. I won't say it's guaranteed, but I definitely say it's possible. I had it and it ain't been right since. I had it. I had it back in. I had it back in February. I had it back in February. Matter of fact, January going into February, I quit it. Let me tell you how I didn't find out I had it until way down the line when they say, "Oh, it wasn't March when it started. It was December when it started." I was with my homie, right? One of my young girl. When I say young, she's 28. I'm 36, so it's young. I was with my young Spanish girl, and I mean we've been kicking it for a year, and she got sick. And when she got sick, I took her to the ER, and we thought she had a flu. We was like, yo, we thought she had a flu. She did all the blood work, no STDs. We did all the blood work, no cold. Did all the blood work. They did the thing in her nose. I actually got to see it too when they put it in her nose, and it came out, and she ain't had no flu. And we was like, what the hell? She got all the symptoms. She got all the symptoms, but she ain't had no flu. So I'm like, all right, well, whatever. So we took her out the hospital. They let us go out the hospital. They gave us some antibiotics to bring her thing down. We was kissing. We were still having sex. We were still doing that. It wasn't nothing. A week later, my body and my bones started hurting. Like I had a breathing problem. I got asthma, but I ain't had no breathing problem. But my bones started hurting, and I had a fever, and I was freaking out. So I went and took a AIDS test. I went and took a HIV test. I went and took a herpes test. I went and took all these tests, and it wasn't nothing. It was like nothing was there. But at this time, we did not know that the virus even existed because this is in February. Nobody said nothing. So then I'm like, I got 2 weeks before I go to. I had 2 weeks before I went to Colombia for Carnival, and I'm like, I got to get better. And I mean, it came to the point where I was going to work with my body hurting. I never took a day off work. Never took a day off work. Just going to work. My body was hurting, and I'm young. I don't get sick that often, if at all. I don't take any medicine. So I didn't understand what was going on. And a week before I went to Colombia, it just stopped out of nowhere. I felt young again. I felt like I could move. I could do all this stuff. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I just went about my business. Like, so I don't know, man. I've actually had it. Minnesota, what up, man? Playa is the way, man. Let me see if I can get to the end of this. All right, we almost done. Seeing pics is beautiful. Trump is a businessman, not a politician. People listen up for the Republic. Listen up for the Republican form. Withdraw your consent. Let's get the affairs in order. Dallas is getting very bad. Kuna, what's going on? I don't know about Dallas though, but if you seen my Houston videos that I just came from, bro, the pandemic wasn't even the thing in Houston. You would think it's not even the thing in Houston, man. Like, I like it there, man. Condo on the beach looks doable in Playa. I mean, yeah. We treat Colombia like the Bat Cave. We use it to plan, prepare. Facts, big facts, big facts. You got it, Jimmy Mac. We all in this together. Love all the trips you took around the world. I learned a lot. Oh, thank you, Memphis. Thank you, Memphis. I appreciate it, man. I'll be learning too. I'll be learning from y'all. I'll be learning from the people I meet along the way. I love learning, man. Will they feed us brew or worse, neutral loaf? I don't know. All right, we got two more. He says, look, a fake arm, ecstasy, Amazon. Looking for a fake arm or ecstasy. What's going on, Darcy? Deep, man. If you have any common sense, you can see something ain't right. Facts, big facts, man. All right, whew. We went over 18 minutes, but we got down to the last question, debt reset. Oh, man. Kuda bang, man. Listen, it's so much stuff it's so much stuff the government can do. And I'm not saying that I don't want you guys to think that I'm saying they put this virus out here for them to do this. No, what I'm saying is that this virus just came. But they said while it's here, let's take advantage. That's just my opinion. Global paper, Brazil job, what up? From the symptoms, you had it. You sound like a weak flu. I had the flu over a decade ago. That shut me down for 3 days couldn't get out of bed. I would have thought I had the flu too, but like I said, I took my young girl to the actual ER. We was in the ER and she didn't have a flu. She didn't have a flu. But all the symptoms when I read what the COVID was, I had like I was super tired. I was still going to work. My bones hurt, and I didn't understand. I don't have anything that my bones would hurt. I was super tired. You know, I had a little bit of headache. I had a high fever, and it wouldn't go down for a week. So like, you know, it was tough. But you already know. COVID comes from over the poet. Oh shucks. Fly get tested for the antibodies. I don't know, man. I don't even want. I don't. If it was a I'm supposed to be. It's supposed to be ending this live, but it was a book. I think it's called 40 Laws of Power, 50 Laws of Power, or something like that, where it says don't worry about don't get tested for symptoms. It was forget it. Don't I gotta figure that out. I don't want to quote it wrong. So, but thanks for everybody for joining in, man. We have 34 people in the room. I appreciate y'all. If you're watching this on the replay, I hope you enjoyed. And I'll make sure if you got any questions, put them in the comments, man. It's your boy FRE$H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's THEFLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why, just check out the channel. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace.